Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's wait. Give it a second. Let some of you guys log in this morning. All right. 10 a.m. on the nose. It is June 18th. It's Wednesday. Good morning to you guys. Today's Trooper Steve on patrol. Little interesting because we're going to dive into something that really covered the morning news all day yesterday in the traffic side of things, and that was a fatal crash. And why is this fatal crash? We have, unfortunately, listen, we do have fatal crashes all the time, but this one stuck out a little bit because I personally have never seen one at this intersection. Oviedo tends not to see these high impact type of collisions, and yesterday we had one of those. Someone did die from that crash. And I'm talking about yesterday along State Road 434 over at Hammock Lane. And that crash came out fairly early. So I wanted to come out here, look specifically at the intersection, talk about what the Florida Highway Patrol released, and then navigate the intersection now that there's not a crash there. And we could talk about how it happened and the obvious ways to prevent a crash like this from occurring. But we do have some really good video from that scene yesterday. And it was really devastating. So they shut down a major portion of State Road 434. You can see those two vehicles right there, a Nissan Altima and an SUV there, head-on collision on a two-lane road. So obviously someone messed up, right? Someone left their travel lane. Florida Highway Patrol Traffic Homicide was out there investigating, and this type of investigation takes several hours because these are not just your ordinary troopers. They're out there completely collecting evidence, taking measurements, and things like that. Now, surprisingly, when we read through some of the crash reports, you never know who or why the injuries occur or how a fatal takes place, and that's why these investigators do what they do. But this shut down 434 for quite some time. Small scene, but major results. One person did die from that crash scene. So let's talk about that crash just a little bit. So FHP sent out a press release yesterday explaining that they were on scene. The crash took place just after 5 o'clock yesterday morning along 434 here in Seminole County. And I'm on 434 just west of that where that crash scene occurred. So it involved a Nissan Altima and a Jeep Compass. Okay, so we're going to go to the direct press release just so we could see exactly what they said. Because we want to read it verbatim, and I want to give you some of the details that were listed on this. But of course, it's not going to load, so we will just go through this. So the crash occurred on State Road 434. Crash involved two vehicles, a Nissan Altima and a Jeep Compass. So for you guys at home, anytime you read a press release like this, V1, Vehicle 1, is usually 99.999% is the vehicle we list as the vehicle that contributed the most that caused the crash. All right, so preliminary evidence shows V1 was traveling eastbound on State Road 434 approaching Hammock Lane. So they were going further into Oviedo with 417 behind them. V2 was traveling westbound, so coming north there on 434 and making the turn, right? V1 driver failed to negotiate the right curve. The front of V1 smashed into the front of V2. Okay, V2, the Jeep, became fully engulfed in flames, and you saw that from the video that we showed you. That vehicle was just completely damaged. The V1 was drivers pending identification. They were pronounced deceased on the scene, and the driver of that fully engulfed vehicle was transported to Lake Monroe Hospital with serious injuries, and they survived. They survived that crash. I tell you, sometimes it sucks because we see that usually the person who causes these crashes survived the crashes. Now, I don't want anyone to die in any of these incidents, but it is unfortunate that the person that goes out there, chooses to drive reckless, drives drunk, or under the influence of something, and they walk away from these tragic crashes, and then other families are just completely left devastated. This is unfortunate, but it's not often where you see that the driver at fault was the one who dies in that crash. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to come out here to 434. I'm right here on Palm Drive. I'm just a couple of hundred yards away from Hammock Lane. We're going to drive it both directions, and then we're going to talk about it. All right? Then we're going to wrap it up, because ultimately this is easy. Every stream, what is the common denominator? Driver responsibility. I want to give a huge shout out this morning. We have the one and the only, our executive producer of the morning show, the man, the myth, the legend, John Ambrone, learning all there is to know about Results 1 today, and Trooper Steve on patrol. So it's really cool having the boss man behind the wheels with Kathleen, learning some of the new stuff that we got going on here. One of the main reasons our team is so successful in the morning is because of Kathleen and because of John, so we really appreciate them. All right, we're going to come out here to 434. Key things, right? We're checking our visibility. I'm looking left. I'm looking right. I'm making sure, even if I'm making the right turn. But right now we're focused on eastbound traffic of 434, right? So we're looking. I'm going to wait for a second, wait for this traffic to kind of clear out a little bit. And we will pull behind this upcoming blue Ford Sprinter here. And we're going to drive what V1 was doing, all right? If you're joining us this morning, good morning first, but we're dissecting a crash that took place yesterday along 434 and Hammock Lane here inside of Oviedo. So this crash, no crash like this should ever happen, but someone made an obvious mistake here, and we're going to talk about it because this could have ended a lot worse. It did result in someone dying, but this is a highly residential area, a lot of pedestrians, always something going on. There is no business out here, so it could have ended up in someone's house. Just a horrible spot to have a crash. So this is where it was taking place at. Vehicle 1 was eastbound, headed in this direction along State Road 434. Okay, that vehicle was traveling in this direction at about 5 o'clock this morning. It was about 5 o'clock yesterday morning. So as that vehicle was traveling eastbound here along 434, approaching Hammock Lane, obviously something went wrong, right? So they were coming through this intersection, they were navigating the turn here, and what happened? They continued straight, and the point of impact was right here. And you can still see the markings in the roadway. So, looking at that, it's pretty obvious. Someone failed to negotiate a turn. Someone was either driving too fast, someone was having some type of medical situation, which ultimately the Highway Patrol will determine. A lot of people are like, man, it takes forever to figure this stuff out. You want it to be right? So that's why some of these investigations do take years for fatal crash investigations. And, you know, so I get it. It sucks. But ultimately, the families are the ones that need a good investigation conducted. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. Ultimately, it's truly about the family getting what they deserve. So that's why it takes some time. Okay, so in that roadway, speed limit, I believe it was 40 miles an hour. Very easy to negotiate. I don't know how long it takes someone to back up their four-door Lexus here at 3 miles an hour. First time driving, it must be. I'm trying to do my best here and not call out any crazy clowns since I have my EP watching me this morning. Don't need him judging me. He gets there's a different version of Trooper Steve when it gets to Trooper Steve on patrol. All right, we're going to now go westbound on 434. There's something to keep in mind out here. There is construction taking place. There is a lane closure this morning. Was that occurring out here yesterday morning? I don't know. But this is the path of V2, the driver who was deemed not at fault and did survive the crash. They were traveling westbound here along 434, passing Laurel Oaks Boulevard. As they were traveling westbound here in their travel lane, that other vehicle would be similar to where this dump truck was, and impact was right about here. Boom. and that driver had no idea what was taking place. This is simple, guys. I've driven through here 100 times. I've never, ever seen someone leave their travel lane. Speed limit, 45 miles an hour. Visibility, clear. Visual obstructions, none. There's no excuse for something like that to take place out here unless something extreme has occurred. There's only a few actual excuses that would say that the driver did nothing wrong, which would be a medical episode. Outside of that, we need to start thinking, what are we doing in the road, in our car, that's affecting the other people right around us? It's insane. I wish I had the information here. I believe the individual was in their 30s who lost their life yesterday. And then now that affects so many other people than just the people out on the road. So you can see out here, roadway was clear. There's nothing that really contributes other than possible high speed or distracted of driving. And with that driver leaving the roadway, unfortunately V2 had no idea what was headed their way. So short and sweet today, guys. Super short and sweet, keeping it simple. But ultimately, how do you prevent these crashes from happening? You limit your distractions. You watch your speed. Know your route before you're headed out somewhere. And look at signage before it's right up on you. Anytime I'm driving, I'm looking 3 or 4 cars out. I'm looking at the signs of what could possibly affect me. And ultimately, you should be doing the same thing. Guys, this is a nice educational stream, keeping it simple, just going out to visit that intersection. A lot of people were like, well, that intersection's bad. No, it's not. Super clean, super simple. And if you're doing the speed limit and doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing when you're supposed to be doing it, crashes like that won't occur. You guys have a great day. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning to make her in the rest of the week. I'll see you guys early. Bye.